All right, Jack.
And I know exactly what you're thinking of, but it's not that, so just relax.
Well, say first and second quarter time, she got professional team checks in the Joe Clark at Ross.
And the worst part, she's right 99% of the time.
But we need some improvements. At least I checked off state first in second grades. Experts can match you with a more supportive mattress. Stay Posturepedic with targeted support to help relieve those nagging aches. And right now, you can save up to $700. Mattress Plus. Make sleep easy.
Like, bro, what is this? A simple edit.
Here. Ah. Say ah. Do you like it or no? You want a bowl? You gotta come get it. Come on.
Okay, hold on. Yo, what's up, Luke?
Formula One history is filled with stories like this. Teams that
Can't play. I'm helping my mock clean up. Alright, but help me, your mom. I know. Okay.
lights out somewhere right here potential.
The cold got in the tequila.
Tai Chi, build the back. After 50, you need that. In 1 week, you'll feel energy. In 2 weeks, you'll feel your breath. In 3 weeks, you'll have energy and you'll want to get the use of your body.
Like, bro.
Here is the personalized plan. Where exactly did the U.S. military push strike inside Nigeria? And how did it go off hundreds of miles away? First, let's talk about the location. The strike hits Dakota State right in the northwestern corner of Nigeria. This is a critical area because it borders the country of Niger. Security analysts have identified a specific target as camps belonging to
This guy's cheating, bro.
these are likely the Islamic State, Sahel province, or locally affiliated group known as Hezbollah.
I'm rocking you can see my loadout, bro.
Extremist groups are moving
I'm rocking this mythic AR and a
northwestern Nigeria. But the
spaz.
unlike the drone strikes we often see in other regions, this operation relied on heavy naval firepower. The U.S. Navy launched Tomahawk cruise missiles, long-range precision weapons. These missiles were fired from a U.S. Navy warship positioned all the way down in the Gulf of Guinea, off the southern coast of West Africa. The operation was conducted by the U.S. Africa Command. Crucially, both the Pentagon and the Nigerian Foreign Ministry confirmed
Oh my god, bro.
the approval and intelligence support of the Nigerian government. But how did the Nigeria war start? To understand this, we have to look at how this country is divided into Muslim and Christian. The northern part of Nigeria is predominantly Muslim, and 50 to 55% of the population is still mostly Sunni Islam, while the southern and southeastern regions are majority Christian, comprising about 45% to 35% of the population. Boko Haram, an Islamist militant group, is primarily based in northeastern Nigeria, specifically in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. This group adheres to this strategy.
Yeah. Mom.
Limiting everyone, whether Muslims or Christian, that does not follow the rule's law. Sadly, most of the victims are their fellow Muslim brothers too. Let's look at their basics. Boko Haram is primarily organized found in northeastern Nigeria and the surrounding Lake Chad region, which stretches across the borders of Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. Among the most significant strongholds is the Sambisa forest in Nigeria. This vast remote forest has historically served as Boko Haram's primary headquarters and training ground, providing a concealed base for planning attacks and sheltering fighters. Another critical area is the Lake Chad Islands. These swampy, difficult to access islands offer natural cover, making them ideal hideouts for militants. They function as logistics hubs and supply depots, allowing Boko Haram to move men and material across borders with relative ease. Further, the rugged terrain of the grazing hills along the Nigeria-Cameroon border acts as a strategic fallback zone. Here, Boko Haram maintains camps and lookout posts using the landscape to evade military operations. Finally, around the town of Bama in Borno State, Boko Haram has established logistical and command centers. This area plays an essential role in coordinating their operations and sustaining the insurgency in the region. But why is the Nigerian government unsuccessful in defeating Boko Haram? They face various problems from lower budgets, manpower, to geography. The group operates in remote, difficult terrains like forests and swampy Lake Chad Islands, which are hard for the military to access. Nigeria's armed forces also struggle with outdated equipment, poor training, and logistical issues, limiting their effectiveness. Intelligence gathering is difficult because Boko Haram uses guerrilla tactics and small-scale attacks to avoid detection. Additionally, poverty, unemployment, and weak governments in the northeast allow Boko Haram to recruit easily, with some communities mistrusting government forces due to corruption and previous abuses. The group's cross-border operations require regional cooperation, which is often
Art.
slow and complicated by sovereignty concerns. Human rights concerns and security force abuses have also eroded public trust, making it harder for the government to gain immediate support. Let's take a closer look at how the U.S. will go about targeting Boko Haram. First, they've established naval and air dominance. A naval task force made up of aircraft carriers, destroyers, and amphibious ships will position itself in the Gulf of Guinea. From there, they provide air cover, launch precision strikes, and be ready to quickly deploy troops wherever they need. Next comes intelligence gathering. Using satellites, drones like the MQ-9 viewer, and signal interception, the U.S. will keep constant watch on Boko Haram's movements, strongholds, and communication, giving commanders real-time awareness of the battlefield. They also work closely with Nigeria and neighboring countries to coordinate security across borders, share intelligence, and conduct joint operations that make it harder for Boko Haram fighters to slip across borders. The weaponry, cruise missiles like Tomahawks were launched from naval destroyers and submarines to take out key Boko Haram bases and supply operations. At the same time, stealth fighters like the F-35 will carry out airstrikes on command centers, minimizing collateral damage. Special forces will roll out in coordination with Nigerian and regional troops to conduct
Bro, I don't play
strategic
that game like
operations,
that no more, bro.
building
That game is
loyalty and
trash.
trusted leadership, and help train local forces in better fighting insurgency. Finally, the second focus is logistics, especially in challenging areas like the Lake Chad Islands or the Sambisa Forest and beyond. Cutting off the supply lines will make things more difficult for some of the regional group. Together, this multi-layered approach combines America's advanced military capabilities with regional partnerships to systematically break down Boko Haram's strength, reduce their recruitment, and help restore stability in the region.
That's the sound of America with hardcore. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello, my name is Alex Riley, and I'm the CEO of PH Energy. I look forward to you joining us for our next webinar where we can build a group for U.S. offers. We currently offer two investment offers. Capital and bond offers for accredited investors with target. So the U.S. will continue to sample Boko Haram and maintain Marines and boots on the ground. The strategy involves deploying a ship capable of carrying Marines, tanks, and armored vehicles close to the shore using these hovercraft. These hovercraft traverse waters, beaches, and difficult terrain, delivering troops where traditional landing craft or aircraft can't go.
Yes, it's trash.
These missions
BO7 is
demonstrate how
trash.
quickly inroads and close
Yes, it's
quarters can work on
trash.
complex battlefields. Missions
dookie. Like, it's butt. It's not good anymore. It's not. BO6 was good, though. BO6 was good. BO6 was real good, actually. I'm still good in Call of Duty. I'm still really good. I'm just not. It's just not my thing anymore, bro. I'm going back to Fortnite. My baby. But I'll play though. I'll play. I will play. It say Doors got a new. Oh, for real? For real? You lying? You lying? What's the update? What's the update? What's the update, boy? Hey, after this round, I'll play some Call of Duty, but you gotta join my new stream, right?
Their unique air cushion design allowed them to glide seamlessly over water, beaches, marshes, ice, and difficult terrain, places where conventional boats cannot operate. This ability opens access to roughly 70 to 80% of the world's shorelines, vastly expanding potential landing zones beyond the limited 17% reachable by older landing craft. Hovercraft can carry 60 to 75 armed carriers and offer one of the most dangerous and
You know what I'm saying? Hey, chat. Woo, chat. This guy's bugging. He is tripping. He is tripping. Chat. Chat, please tell me what that was, bro. Bro. Alright, bro. This guy's a sprayer. Oh, man, that guy was terrible. I'm winning this game, chat. I'm winning this game. I have to win this game for y'all, chat. Ah, chat. Oh my god. If I really wanted to, I could have killed that guy. He was trash, bro.
military to strike inside Nigeria? And how did it
He about to rush me and get killed.
Why is the United States actively preparing for war in southern Korea? To answer that, we have to look at the massive reactivation of Cold War infrastructure that has been dormant for decades. What this implosion. Implosion is the process of destruction by collapsing inward into the object itself. Where explosion expands, implosion contracts. In the case of the Titan submersible, implosion is caused.
In this video, we will look at the basic process that collapses a submersible. In this cyber section, we operate vehicles like motorcycle skids with deep flight. We will also be looking at the trophy system, which is being borrowed from the Republic. And most importantly,
You for real, bro?
Functionality takes place in Butler, Pennsylvania, roughly 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. The Butler Farm Showground is located at 625 Evans City Road, about 5 miles from downtown Butler. The shooter, Thomas Crook, was smart enough to park his van on Lawrence Avenue, avoiding police and Secret Service officers for investigation and checking. It was also
Dang,
suspected of
Chet.
containing a considerable amount of explosives. This is where he got out and walked all the way to this vantage point, which is this building on the right. He then climbed this ladder located here and moved up to the top of this roof. To help you understand better, let's take a basic look at the position of Trump on stage as well as the shooter. There are three important structures or buildings you need to understand. This is the Trump stage, and just above him is the audience section where a selected number of people is seated. This structure is also very important as it is where the Secret Service personnel are located when snipers are positioned. Finally, beyond this building, where the shooter set up his sniper location. A quick note, the distance from the shooter Thomas Crook to the Trump stage is around 137 meters, which translates to around 450 feet. While the distance between the shooter and the Secret Service sniper position is around 134 meters, which is approximately 440 feet. When former President Donald Trump goes into his speech, the shooter squeezed the trigger of his AR-15 rifle, releasing 3 bullets. One of these shots hit the former president on the ear. This was followed by another 5 shots. Possibly one of the bullets missed the former president's head by just a quarter of an inch as it penetrated through a chest tissue located on the left. This move saved his life. From the top angle, this is what it looks like when we're playing how the bullet missed Mr. Trump as he moved his head at the last millisecond. Interestingly, this bullet would have hit the former president if his head had been turned towards the audience as shown here in this visualization. All in the videos ahead with detailed minute-to-minute animated timelines until the former president is in his armored SUV. We will also be looking at the respective weapons used by both parties and the two scenarios with and without bullets penetrating the skull. At 6:12 p.m. ET, Trump started addressing his supporters and spoke for roughly 6 minutes before the scene erupted into chaos. Trump was in the middle of speaking when someone in the crowd was heard saying, "We've got a gun." As the video captured someone in the crowd repeating, on the roof, "We've got a gun," a series of 3 shots rang out. A pause and 5 more shots in rapid succession were heard. For some unknown reason, the shooter had clear line of sight through elevated levels well positioned as he started. Interestingly, a heavy-duty ladder was also located on the side, likely a thermal fixture. The aim with this AR-15 is semi-automatic rifle, which will be discussed in detail later in the video. At around 6:11, he aimed his sight for the former president and squeezed the trigger, releasing a bullet. At 6:11:34, Trump flashed the right side of his face. At 6:11:35, Trump took cover as U.S. Secret Service agents rushed to the photos and surrounding him. is defending his position outside the rally's venue, approximately 400 to 500 feet away from where Trump was speaking. As discussed, the police sniper was located at this position. They were then alerted and started aiming at the suspected shooter. When ready, the bullet actually rifled bullet traveling a range of 500 feet. However, this weapon can inflict damage at a range of around 1,200 to 1,500 yards. This is well beyond the shooter 500 feet limit.
I wish I could get a free bag of chips.
Morning, morning, make me feel like I was failed.
Now let me tell you that I'm. With that, the 2000.
Did Dad go from XL to M with walking by Halloween?
Right. We will discuss this weapon in more detail later in the video. At this moment, Trump remains low to the ground, surrounded by agents, who can be heard on the rally microphone discussing which vehicle will be used to move the former president away from the scene. Seconds later, multiple agents say, "Shooters down." Law enforcement in tactical gear and rifles are now on the stage. A woman's screams are heard following the sound of another shot. Here's a transcript of the audio at the podium with Trump and Secret Service members. 6:11:41 p.m. Female agent, what are we doing?
This is only for people who look like a celebrity. If that's not
Man
you,
indistinctly yelling. 6:11:50. Gunshots and women screams. 6:11:58. Male agent 2. Go around to the spare. Go around to the spare. Spare refers to a spare limousine or SUV.
And then I got
At
practice
6:12
cleaning
again,
the shot, so
male agent 3 appears to
that's
say
why
something like,
I don't like
"Move to the
shooting in the evening
spare,
time.
hold. When you're ready, on you." At 6:12:01, male agent 2 screams ready. 6:12:02, male agent 3 shouts again, move. 6:12:03, male agent 2 screams up. 6:12:03, male agent 3 says move. 6:12:04, male agent 4. He shouts again, go, go, go. 6:12:06, male agent 2, Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye is the code name for the counter-assault team. 6:12:06 again. Female agent 1, Hawkeye's here, moving to the spare. 6:12:09, male agent 4, spare get ready, spare get ready. 6:12:10, male agent 2 says, you ready? 6:12:16-21, agents, shooters down, shooters down, are we good to move? 6:12:21, male agent, shooters down, we're good to move. 6:12:22, female agent, are we clear? 6:12:23, agents, we're clear, we're clear, we're clear. 6:12:23, male agent, let's move, let's move. 6:12:25, the agent prepared to move Trump off stage, but he tells them to wait. With blood dripping from his ear over a portion of his face, Trump lifts his fist in the air, prompting a loud cheer from the rally crowd, and mouths the word fight 3 times while pumping his fist. Some say this is kind of a gangster move by Trump. It is a mark in American history to never give up and fight. Let's take a look at what the snipers are using. This is a bolt-action sniper rifle used by the U.S. Navy SEALs and other special operations units. The rifle is based on the Remington 700 long act.
The phenomenon could involve some type of activity that some might say constitutes a different form of life.
This would be one of the most closely held secrets in the entire United States government, if not the most closely held secret.
When people say the government can't really keep secrets, I and my colleagues know many secrets that have been kept for decades, and they can be kept.
So you're very because the American people are being lied to.
The only way the lid's going to get blown off this, we get a commander in chief of the jets. Let's see what happens.
Now look, I don't play a lot of
The only way the lid's going to get blown off this, we get a commander in chief of the jets. Let's see what happens.
In 2017, Congress began learning about a half-century-plus program from an ultra-secret program dealing with UFOs, now referred to as unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP.
Yeah.
In 2022, the first congressional hearings were held on the subject in over 50 years, confirming the phenomenon.
We get a commander in chief of the jets. Let's see what happens.
In 2017, Congress began learning about a half-century-plus program from an ultra-secret program dealing with UFOs, now referred to as unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP. In 2022, the first congressional hearings were held on the subject in over 50 years, confirming the phenomenon is real.
Instruments report to the center unit. There are flags listed for signature arrangement and nuclear value for state.
What began as a rare bipartisan effort to dig into the deep,
What project is this? Push your game ever? Bro stops spaming. 19.10? Yeah. The tug insists that the author DLLs fail.
as Washington made progress, the more Congress pulled on the learning thread, the more they began to unravel.
Topics like that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave. And there's nothing we can do about it.
There's no self-evident propulsion system.
No wings, no higher energy coming off the vehicle.
Even more startling was the discovery of an alleged black budget program tasked with the recovery
discovery of craft of alien origin.
Mr. Correspondent, would you believe there are elementary freshmen in the Navy? Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came from some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Everything here I would say is something that I've been exposed to in the program.
You're the one who's changed, Diary.
Have you ever met anyone that has sort of put their hands on the creative side in these alleged craft and unconventions?
I can't say.
Mr. Burning Barnes saw my pin video. Just
Hi,
here at
I'm
TGF.
director and producer
Here's
James
my
Fox.
Burning Barnes.
I just arrived from Washington, D.C., which is currently the epicenter of an unprecedented effort to force the government's hand into finally revealing what they really know about the UAP phenomenon.
Keyboard, bro. It's hard.
In 2022, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds proposed the most ambitious
It's not meant
UAP
for everyone.
disclosure bill in American history.
This is a major, major win for government transparency and expertise and gives us a strong foundation for more action in the future.
And a requirement as a transparency measure for the government to obtain any recovered UAP material or biological remains that may have been provided to tribal entities in the past and thereby hidden from Congress and the American people.
And here you have in an actual congressional, in this case senatorial document, the phrase NHI, meaning non-human intelligence, mentioned more than 20 times in an actual congressional document.
My name is Leslie King, and I'm an investigative reporter, and I was one of 3 journalists who broke the story in December of 2017 about the Department of Defense secret program studying UFOs. And that story was kind of a catalyst for a lot of things that have happened since.
You get that close to something.
As details of the exposed Department of Defense program came to light, so did evidence and additional military witnesses. What followed was a bipartisan congressional effort to find out what the intelligence agencies really knew about UAPs.
Now they know that this is real, right? Because the Pentagon's been studying it. And we had all this great material in our story, and members of Congress started to ask questions. Where did it go?
Let's go sit down, Ollie. Okay?
Jacksonville Jaguars are spending over
When the island speaks. So, see?
Jacksonville Jaguars are spending over $1 billion to renovate their stadium. The new design includes a massive roof structure covering nearly every seat. But this $1 billion renovation will not create a dome. Welcome to Big Bills. In 1995, Everbank Stadium opened as an entirely open-air facility downtown Jacksonville. The stadium served the Jaguars faithfully for 3 decades, hosting NFL games under the scorching Florida sun. But Jacksonville presents a unique climate challenge that separates it from every other NFL market. Jacksonville experiences a humid subtropical climate with summer temperatures regularly exceeding 90 degrees Fahrenheit. September games, when the NFL season begins, coincide with some of the most punishing heat of the year. to extreme heat occurred during early season game games. Fan complaints about the brutal conditions became a recurring theme in local media and team forums. Despite major upgrades in 2014, including the installation of two of the largest video boards in professional sports, the fundamental heat problem remained unresolved. The Jaguars had successfully enhanced the entertainment experience with premium club spaces, expanded concourses, and cutting-edge technology. However, the core issue of fan comfort during the hottest months continued to limit the stadium's potential for hosting major events and maintaining consistent attendance. This challenge led to the development of the most ambitious stadium renovation in recent NFL history. The project, officially known as Stadium of the Future, represents a $1.4 billion investment that will transform Everbank Stadium while maintaining its essential character. The renovation centers on a revolutionary roof design that covers approximately 90% of the seating bowl. The roof utilizes ETFE material, a lightweight and semi-transparent membrane that provides shade while allowing natural light to filter through. This engineering solution addresses the heat problem without creating a fully enclosed environment. The design maintains open corners at each end of the stadium, ensuring natural airflow throughout the facility. These openings prevent the stadium from becoming a true dome, while allowing for significant temperature reduction through strategic shade coverage. The ETFE roof structure weighs considerably less than traditional roofing materials, reducing the structural demands of an existing stadium framework. This approach makes the renovation feasible without requiring complete reconstruction of the foundation and support systems. The decision to avoid a complete dome stems from three interconnected factors that shaped every aspect of the renovation plan. Understanding these factors reveals why the Jaguars chose this specific engineering approach over simpler alternatives. Financial considerations played a central role in the design process. An fully enclosed dome would require comprehensive climate control systems, including massive air conditioning infrastructure capable of cooling over 67,000 seats. The operational costs alone would add millions of dollars annually to the facility's expenses. The ETFE roof solution reduces construction costs while providing substantial heat relief through shade coverage. The city of Jacksonville contributes approximately $775 million to the project, representing more than half of the total cost. Public funding constraints influenced every design decision throughout the planning process. The roof design prioritizes natural ventilation over artificial climate control. The open corners allow hot air to escape while drawing cooler air through the stadium. This passive cooling approach reduces the need for energy-intensive systems while maintaining comfortable conditions for most games. The engineering team determined that complete enclosure would require sealing all openings and installing industrial-scale HVAC systems. The hybrid approach delivers significant temperature reduction without the complexity and expense of full.
Because it's right near where they do the fairs and stuff.
With private responsibility. The Jacksonville project represents part of a broader NFL evolution toward hybrid stadium solutions that balance tradition with modern expectations. Recent projects in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and Minneapolis demonstrate various approaches to addressing climate challenges while maintaining outdoor football character. SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles utilizes a similar ETFE roof design that covers the seating bowl while maintaining open sides. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas features a translucent dome that provides complete climate control while allowing natural light penetration. These projects indicate that the simple choice between open air and enclosed stadiums no longer adequately describes modern NFL facility development. Teams increasingly pursue customized solutions that address their specific climate challenges and market demands. The Jacksonville renovation timeline targets completion before the 2027 NFL season. Construction will proceed in phases to minimize disruption to regular season games, with the most intensive work occurring during off-seasons. The project represents one of the largest stadium renovations in NFL history, comparable in scope and cost to recent new construction projects. The engineering complexity of adding a major roof structure to an existing facility presents unique challenges that will influence future renovation projects across the league. Stadium of the Future establishes Jacksonville as a test case for major facility upgrades that preserve existing infrastructure while delivering modern amenities. The success or failure of this approach will
You can lose the weight the way you want. Weight Loss by Hims offers access to a variety of
Is a microchip. When you zoom in, you find a nanoscopic computing city. Skyscrapers, hundreds of layers tall, with hundreds of kilometers of wires connecting everything. And at the very bottom is this: transistors. Billions of them. They are the ones and zeros of our computer. The chip works by whizzing electrons from transistor to transistor. And the smaller you can make those transistors, the less the signals have to travel, so the faster they can compute.
Plus, you can fit more transistors into the same area, resulting in a much more powerful chip.
So for over 50 years, transistors got smaller and smaller. The number you could fit on a chip doubled every 2 years. This became known as Moore's Law, named for Intel's co-founder Gordon Moore after he noticed the pattern back in 1965. And has been one of the main drivers of the chip industry. But around 2015, progress came to a screeching halt. And we might have never gotten past it if it wasn't for a single company that makes these machines. The machines that saved Moore's Law.
This is a video about the most complicated commercial you'll ever build. It cost more than $400 million, and it is so big that I want to introduce it to you as a plot experiment.
Put on the outfit, we're going out.
Imagine you are shrunk down to the size of an ant. And you're given a laser that's strong enough to melt through metal like butter. Next, a tiny droplet of molten tin, roughly the size of a red blood cell, is shot out in front of you around 250 kilometers per hour. And your task is to hit this not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row in 20 microseconds with your laser. Well, that is exactly what this machine does. It hits one tiny thin droplet 3 times in a row, heating each one up to over 220,000 Kelvin. That's roughly 40 times hotter than the surface of the sun. And it doesn't just hit one point. It hits 50,000 droplets every single second.
How often do you miss a laser shot?
We don't use that much.
What? You do 150,000 laser shots a second, and you don't miss one.
Exactly. The SID machine also contains mirrors that reach the smoothest objects in the universe. If you scale one up to the size of the Earth, then the largest bump would be no bigger than a playing ball. On top of that, it is able to overlay one layer of a chip perfectly on top of another, creating a route of enormous five chips. And this is all happening while parts of the machine whip around at accelerations of over 20 Gs. For 30 years, almost everyone thought that actually building this machine was impossible. And yet, it exists. There is only one company in the world that can make it. So what is this company? And what is this impossible machine they built?
This video is sponsored by Fortnite. More about that at the end of the show. Now, just as a quick aside, the makers of this machine didn't actually sponsor this video. We just thought that the science and engineering here were so cool that we had to leave the video. So let's start. To make a microchip, you start by taking silicon dioxide, usually from sand, and purifying it into ultra-pure, nearly 100% silicon chunks, which is then melted down in a special furnace. Next, you lower a small seed crystal into the vat. Silicon atoms attach to the crystal, extending its structure. Then you slowly raise the seed crystal while rotating it. This results in a large single crystal silicon anode.
This is where the seed crystal would be, and then you pull it out back.
It seems like you would not be able to fit all of this one through.
Yes.
You have to stretch out if you. Yeah, I'm scared to not good.
Yes.
It needs using more force.
The ingot is then cut into wafers with diamond wire saws, up to 5,000 of them, after which each wafer is carefully polished. Next, it's coated with a light-sensitive material called photoresist. There are different kinds, but in a positive photoresist, the areas exposed to light become weaker and more soluble. So if you shine light through a patterned mask, you can selectively weaken parts of that coating.
Then you rinse the wafer with a basic solution to wash away the exposed photoresist, leaving the design imprinted. So now you can actually turn this pattern into physical structures. This is often done by etching into the uncovered silicon by using either chemicals or plasma. And then you deposit a metal like copper to fill in those etched lines. As a last step, you wash away the remaining photoresist, and now you've made a single layer of the chip. We've simplified this cycle down to the main steps: coat, expose, etch, and deposit. It repeats for every single chip layer, and depending on the chip, there could be anywhere from 10 to 100 layers. The bottom layer is the transistors. This is the most complicated layer, requiring hundreds of steps that all need to be perfect. The higher layers are a little easier. These are the metal wires that carry signals and power. And by the end, the completed wafer can have hundreds of chips, which are then cut into separate pieces, packaged, and put into products.
But by far the hardest and most crucial step in the process is where you shine light through the mask and onto the wafer. This is photolithography. And that's because this step determines how small you can make the features.
At first, it seems simple. Light passes through openings and it gets blocked by all the rest. But as we try to print smaller and smaller features, the depth of the mask start to approach the wavelength of light. And that causes problems.
And we can actually show it because I happen to have this is a mask, this is a reticle. A reticle, or a mask, carries the design of one chip layer. This reticle is filled with microscopic lines and gaps around 670 nanometers across. And if I take like a laser pointer, so this is a red laser, if I shine it through it, then you see this here. The laser has a wavelength of around 650 nanometers. When light hits the reticle, its wavelengths double as they pass through each gap. So each gap sends out waves that spread out and overlap. Now, let's just look at the light from these two gaps. When the peaks of one wave line up with the troughs of the other, we say that the two waves are color phase, and they cancel each other out, so you get dark spots. And when the peaks line up with the peaks, the two waves are in phase. They add up, and you get bright spots. You get interference, right, and you get a diffraction pattern.
Now, diffraction is inevitable. So instead of fighting it, designers actually use it to get the patterns they want.
They kind of work backwards from the eventual pattern they want on the wafer, and they design the slits so that diffraction will occur in such a way that it creates the pattern that they want.
You see three dots. The middle dot, that's the original one, that's the zero order. And then on the left and the right, you can see the first and the minus first. Now, in order for us to have this image resolve on the wafer, we need to capture the zero, the first and the minus first order.
The smaller you make the features, the larger this angle alpha between the zero and first orders becomes. So the larger your lens needs to be to capture the light. The size of the lens is described by the numerical aperture, or NA for short, which is just the sign of this angle. So the larger that is, the smaller the features you can print. But there is a hard limit to how large your lens system can be. When this angle is 90 degrees and your numerical aperture is 1, well, your lens would have to be infinite. Fortunately, there is one other thing we can change.
This is a red laser. Yeah. And the red laser has a wavelength of 650 nanometers-ish, I would say. Yeah. And if I take the green laser, and this one has a wavelength of 532, then you can see that the green dots are closer spaced than the red dots.
That's because the light from the two different gaps doesn't have to travel as far to match up in phase again. So the orders end up closer together. So with a smaller wavelength, you can print smaller patterns using the same lens. All of this is captured by the Rayleigh equation, which determines the smallest feature size, or critical dimension.
But since there's a limit to how much we can increase in our aperture, one, over time, the only way to keep making smaller and smaller features is by using shorter and shorter wavelengths. So this is exactly what happened up until the late 1990s, when the industry settled on 193 nanometer DUV light. This was the light that was used to make all of the most advanced chips right until around 2015. But by that point, scientists had reached the limit to how small they can make features. And Moore's law was about to run into a brick wall. So a radical change was needed. A change that had been brewing for around 30 years. All the way back in the 1980s, Japanese scientist Hiroki Noshida came up with a crazy idea. use much shorter wavelengths, like X-rays of around 10 nanometers. In theory, that should allow you to create much smaller features. But you quickly run into a problem. X-rays at these wavelengths have nothing actually to eject electrons from their atoms, so most materials absorb them. But unlike medical X-rays, which have wavelengths shorter than 1 nanometers, these are still long enough to interact with air, so air absorbs them too. That meant that Kinoshida's setup had to be in a vacuum. But even worse, he couldn't use lenses to focus the light, because the lenses would absorb it too. So it seemed like his idea would never work.
But around 1983, Kinoshita stumbled on a paper by Jim Underwood and Troy Barbee. Their work focused on special mirrors that could reflect X-rays with a wavelength of 4.48 nanometers. So Kinoshita was intrigued. Curved mirrors can focus light just like lenses do. If he could figure out how to make these special mirrors for the wavelength he was using, then this could be another way to do photolithography. The mirrors work something like this. When light crosses from one medium to another, say from air to glass, it bends or refracts. Some of it goes through and part reflects back. How much gets reflected depends on things like the angle, the light's polarization, and most importantly for us, the difference between the refractive indices of the two media. The larger that difference, the more light is reflected. And Underwood and Barbie used that principle. They made a super thin layer of tungsten, less than 1 nanometer thick, thin enough that X-rays could pass through without immediately being absorbed. When X-rays hit the layer at a specific angle, the tungsten reflected less than 1%. Then they carefully tuned the layer thickness so the path length of the transmitted X-rays was only 1/4 of its wavelength. Then they added another layer, this time out of carbon. It has a higher refractive index than tungsten for wavelengths of 4.48 nanometers. The X-rays hit the boundary and a little bit more reflects. But this time, the phase is inverted, or it's changed by half a wavelength. This happens when any light moves from a lower refractive index to a higher one. Now, by the time this new reflected wave reaches the tungsten boundary, it has traveled another quarter of its wavelength, for a half wavelength in total. So the two phases line up, and the waves interfere constructively. Underwood and Barbie kept doing this trick for a total of 76 alternating layers, so that in total, they could reflect back much more of the X-rays. Now, they only managed to reflect around 6% of the light, but it was a proof of principle that you could reflect X-rays.
So Kinoshita saw the possibilities. He got to work, and after around 2 years, his team designed and built three tungsten carbon first multi-layer mirrors to reflect 11 nanometer light. And with it, he managed to create lines 4 microns, or 4,000 nanometers thick, proving that, at least in theory, X-ray lithography was possible. A year later, in 1986, he went to present his findings to the Japanese Society of Applied Physics. Proud and excited, he explained his setup and showed his image. But to his horror, the audience refused to believe him.
Unfortunately, audience is perfectly skeptical of my talk.
Kinoshita was devastated. He later said, "People seemed unwilling to believe that he had actually made an image by bending X-rays, and they tended to regard the whole thing as a big fish story."
Nobody believed that this was a viable way forward, and unfortunately, the reaction was at least somewhat justified. First, this light isn't naturally produced by anything on Earth. The closest natural source is the sun.
We had to basically build an artificial sun here on Earth.
Most scientists, including Kinoshita, produced X-ray light using a particle accelerator, or a synchrotron.
It gives an enormous amount of power. It's as big as a soccer field. You can fuel a whole fab. The problem is if the light goes out, the whole fab goes out.
So each machine needed its own power source. But even if you could produce the light, you'd need to make incredibly smooth mirrors to actually focus and hide those tiny features. You would need the smoothest objects in the universe.
Okay, so I know football and basketball are all so smooth. But let me just explain something. The football basically uses air, and the it's fine. Let's make this football just as flat as a football is. Perfect. But it's super rough for talking. So, and the same thing happens with mirrors. If the surface is
Okay,
super
Adonis.
rough,
Okay,
then the
don't fix
size of
it
the
no more.
wavelength and the light bends randomly. Now, it might look smooth, but if you zoom into the mirror, you find something that looks like this. You find all these crazy 1,000 chilling hours. But for Kimoshida's mirrors, which not only needed to reflect X-ray light, which was about 100 times shorter wavelength, but also needed to minimize sputtering, so that all the photons make it onto the wafer, it needed to be way more smooth. It needed to be atomically smooth. In fact, the average one could only be around 2.3 kilonewtons per meter.
If one mirror would be the size of Germany, the biggest boat would be about a millimeter long.
But Kinoshita refused to give up.
However, my belief grew untamed.
Soon, out would come some unlikely place.
Tensflip. Hands up assembling 1818 with sleeve flip, that is it.
Lean microorganisms.
How can throat flu symptoms with navicle and Tensflip? Your tip like this.
Okay.
Serve marketing to the right people by targeting industry, budget, and LinkedIn.
If your son drives to Brazil with their car insurance and they're doing this instead. Now, the reason why you may not be paying for car insurance is because a big chunk of your monthly money isn't even for insurance. It's to pay bill collectors and administrative fees. Crazy, right? Well, my friend showed me this cool little website that changes this around completely. It gives you the ability to pay for just your policy alone. As this website can find liability for as low as 29 bucks a month and full coverage insurance for only 38 bucks a month. I put a link to the website down below. So hey, whatever button you see on this video, just go ahead and click that. It's going to take you directly to the website.
Across the Pacific, around 70 kilometers east of San
And
Francisco,
if you
is
hit
the
me
North
again,
Livermore
if
National
you
Lab,
hit me
a
again,
lab that was born out of the Cold War, heavily funded by the US government and built for all-purpose electromagnetic nuclear weapons. The lab was founded by the inventor of the cyclotron, Ernest Lawrence, and the father of the hydrogen bomb, Henry Cullen. In his lifetime, they designed and refined fusion-powered nuclear warheads. So part of their research focused on what happens inside nuclear fusion
okay,
reactions.
then stop.
Fusion reactions release a lot of stuff, right?
Stop.
That they're never able to capture or quantify. But
Stop.
using those special multi-layer mirrors, there was a chance.
One of the scientists tasked with making this work was Andrew Hubbard. And within a few years, his team used multi-layer mirrors to reflect successfully. But then in 1987, Hubbard got a bigger challenge. What happened?
He was very impressed with the technologies that we developed, and he looked at me at the end of the day and said, "This is all very interesting and very neat and stuff, but his words, and I'll remember it to the day of my last, can you do anything useful with this stuff?" And this was the day before ISIS shut down in 1987. And I was so inflamed by that comment that I went home, and for the next 10 days, I wrote up a multi-page white paper.
He applied these mirrors to a tree to create flashes and X-rays. Around 5 years later,
And then
he
look,
presented his
stop.
findings at a conference.
And then
But for
stop.
Kinoshita, he just
That's
wanted
not
to be
stop.
responsible for something.
I don't care. Stop.
It was meaningless. That was the low point in my career. I was literally laughed off the stage, and I kid you not. Every person who I looked up to in the field, they were listening to my talk, and they
And
came
then
up to the
when I tell you
microphone
to stop, you stop.
and told
I'm
me
about to call my mom.
basically why it
What does
wouldn't work,
MOM spell?
how stupid an idea it was. Later that week, I flew back,
Don't
and
walk.
the
She's
following
at the
Monday,
room.
my boss asked me, "How did it go?"
Then move. If you hit
And
me
I
again,
looked at him and I
Don't
said,
tell
"Well,
him.
no
together. I'll tell him.
speaking again."
But then, 3 days later, he gets a phone call from someone named Bill Friedman from Bell Labs.
So I walked over to my boss and I said, "Just got this phone call from a guy named Bill Friedman. Do you know who he is?" And my
Dooney,
boss's
come
eyes
here.
popped open and
Come
said,
here,
"Yeah,
Dooney.
he's the executive vice president for AT&T."
You
I
come
said,
here,
"Well,
Dooney.
he just called me
You
and
better
asked me
come
to
here, Dooney.
fly out to New Jersey and see the dog." The response from my boss said it
Dooney.
all.
labs and they found fellow believers. And it couldn't have come at a better time. Over the past 30 years, the US government then invested billions of dollars into national labs to maintain the country's technological edge during the Cold War. But by the late 1980s, the Cold War was slowing down, and all these labs were sitting on research that had commercial potential. So the government encouraged the labs to partner with US companies to turn that research into products and to stimulate the economy. And the government would then supply seed money. And so Bell Labs partnered with these labs and creators to keep developing X-ray lithography.
And by 1993, the first international conference for X-ray lithography was held in Japan, near Mount Fuji. In the opening address, Fukushida said that as long as we do not lose the desire that has sprung from within us, technology will steadily advance from the micro to the nano to the pico. They even gave the technology a new name, extreme ultraviolet lithography, or just EUV.
But then in 1996, the US government cut funding for the project. This spelled disaster for the big chip companies like Intel. The industry estimated that the 193 nanometer lithography tools would fall behind Moore's Law by 2005. But there were no other alternatives.
So Intel, Motorola, AMD, and other companies got together and invested $250 million to keep it going, making it the largest investment ever by private industry in a Department of Energy research project. By the year 2000, the labs had produced this, the engineering test stand. It was the first fully functioning EUV prototype. It produced 9.8 watts of 13.4 nanometer EUV light, which was then reflected by 8 mirrors from the source to the mask to the wafer. It could print 70 nanometer features, and it proved that EUV could work.
It was a milestone to get the engineering test stand to work. It demonstrated to people like Intel that, good engineering will get us there.
And then it seems like you've got the prototype. Shouldn't be too hard to then commercialize it.
That's what they thought.
But the prototype had a major flaw. It could only print about 10 wafers per hour. And to make EUV economically viable, it would have to print hundreds of wafers per hour, 24/7, 365 days a year. The main reason output was so slow was because the light reflected off of 8 mirrors and the reticle, which is also a mirror, just with the design being printed. Traditional masks that allow light to pass through don't work because, well, they destroy the wafer. Each mirror had a reflectivity of around 70%, which is close to the max, but after 9 bounces, you're only left with 4% of the light, which means that out of every 100 photons, only 4 make it through the wafer. So you might think, just use way fewer mirrors. But that only works up to a point. When you focus light with any optical system, you always get some distortion. For example, rays that pass through the outer edges of most lenses focus light slightly different from those near the center. This is called spherical aberration. And normal cameras correct for this and other aberrations by using multiple lenses. And a mirror system is no different.
You need to have a certain amount of mirrors before you can say I have my aberrations under control. In reality, the systems of today have 6 mirrors.
That helps a little, but after reflecting out 6 mirrors and the reticle, you're still only left with around 8% of light. So they needed to drastically increase the source power to at least 100 watts. Now, to most companies, that tenfold increase seemed impossible. Even people who worked on the engineering test bed noted that while EUV technology itself is a done deal, there were 6 zillion engineering challenges to make it a fat-flying reality. And so, one by one, American companies walked away from developing a full EUV lithography machine. That left just one company, ASML. ASML, which used to stand for Advanced Semiconductor Materials Lithography, is located in a small, nondescript town in the Netherlands. It spun off from Philips back in the 80s with little more than a chef and a barely working wafer stepper to its name. But Philips also gave them people. Jos Benschop, ASML's first researcher, and Martin van der Brik, who would eventually become ASML's CTO and EUV's greatest champion.
The guy, Steve Jobs of lithography. And he saw EUV coming.
ASML had been on the road to electrification earlier, and began making very fast and lightweight wafers. They would work together with their German partner Zeiss, where Zeiss would take care of the mirrors and ASML would focus on the reticles. One of the first decisions when making
The thing is, you need to find the source and you need to find objects that reflect the wavelength. So you have to look for the combination.
Underwood and Barbie had already made mirrors that could reflect light at around 4 nanometers. And since that wavelength is so small, it seems like the obvious choice. But the maximum reflectivity for those mirrors is only around 20%. So after hitting 6 mirrors and theoretical, you're just left with 0.00128%, which is way too low. Fortunately, further researchers also looked at two metals, silicon and molybdenum, which had a theoretical maximum reflectivity of 70% for wavelengths around 30 nanometers, and molybdenum and beryllium, with a theoretical maximum reflectivity of 80% for wavelengths around 11 nanometers. So the choice seemed obvious, right? I mean, pick the shorter wavelength and the higher reflectivity. But it turns out that beryllium is extremely toxic and is also difficult to handle. So scientists focused on silicon and molybdenum instead. To make the mirrors, Zeiss used a process called sputtering. A target of coating material is bombarded with either plasma or ions, causing atoms to be ejected, fly off, and stick to the mirror. This is a messy process, so the layers end up having bumps and gaps.
It was a nice trick that actually the team in the Netherlands perfected. With ion beam, you just shake it a little bit until the atom falls in the hole where it needs to be, and then it's all flat.
With the mirror design locked in, ASML needed a source for that specific wavelength.
So it was 13.x.
Yeah. Okay.
Now the next good question is, what's the x? Now you look for the source. So there are basically three ways of generating energy to build a sun on Earth.
The first method, which early researchers used, was the synchrotron, but it was quickly rolled out because each machine needed its own source. The other two methods are based on the same principle. When an electron recombines with an ion, the ion drops to a lower energy level, and it releases that excess energy as a photon. And if you choose the ion just right, then that photon will have exactly the wavelength you need. Now, there are two ways you can create those ions. The first is you take a metal, heat it up until you get a metal vapor, and then you apply a strong electric field across it. This causes free electrons to knock into nearby atoms and ionize them. If you then turn off the electric field, the electrons recombine with the ions and produce light. This is discharge-produced plasma.
That's the concept we use first, because of its relative simplicity. And we quickly got it to a few watts. We wanted to get 100 watts, and we struggled forever.
So you couldn't scale it.
We could not scale it.
They needed a drastic change. So they switched to the second method. This method uses a high-powered laser to hit a target material, creating a plasma that's more than 220,000 degrees Celsius hot. The electrons have so much energy that the nucleus can't hold on to them anymore, and up to 14 electrons escape their orbits. After the laser shuts off, the electrons and ions recombine to produce light. This is laser-produced plasma, and it was the only method that seemed scalable. In fact, this was the same method that the engineering president used, a 1700-watt laser fired into a stream of xenon gas to produce 13.4 nanometer light. But xenon had a big problem. The conversion efficiency, that is the ratio of usable light to the power put in, was terrible. It was only around 0.5%. That's because while xenon does emit light in the 13 to 14 nanometer range, there's much more light released around 11 nanometers. So most of the energy went into making light that the mirrors couldn't reflect. Plus, the laser didn't ionize all the atoms, so leftover neutral xenon atoms would strongly reabsorb some of that 13.4 nanometer light. So ASML started looking at another material, tin. Now, tin has a much higher emission peak, around 13.5 nanometers, which results in a 5 to 10 times higher conversion efficiency than xenon. But just like xenon, neutral tin atoms also absorb UV light. So they came up with a crazy idea to shoot one tiny tin droplet at a time. But to get the required power, you would have to make and hit thousands of droplets every second, all of which have to be the exact same shape and size.
Cybersecurity degree that leads to real results at WGU. You'll gain AI integrated skills, certifications, and career momentum.
Without the degree from WGU, I wouldn't have got the job.
Learn more at wgu.edu.
Try Formula 44 Convince, the COP Cyber This is your year to think better with a remarkable paper tablet. I won't let my device choose my focus. Learn more at remarkable.com.
Whataburger Monterey Melts is back? You've got some nerve showing up with your all beef patties, grilled peppers, and jalapeno ranch. Oh, we just missed you, that's all. Whataburger Monterey Melts is back. Download the app. What a burger!
But it turns out that you can't instantly make thousands of tin droplets that are the exact same. So they found a workaround. To make the droplets, extremely pure tin is melted and pushed through a microscopic nozzle by high pressure nitrogen. This nozzle vibrates at a high frequency, breaking the stream into tiny droplets. These droplets are irregular in size, shape, velocity, and distance, and the whole process is chaotic.
That's like our magic sauce. Is how do you modulate that tin jet so it forms the droplets we want in the fish cake?
I think we found some paper that described this process, and it was sort of eye-opening to me that it seems like all the droplets actually come out irregular, like in a nozzle. But then before they reach the side where they get hit by the laser, the little irregular droplets come together to form these perfectly spaced, perfectly regular droplets that are about the same size and shape, and all traveling at the same velocity. That feels like magic to me.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's how do you take a long stream of a tin jet that wants to break up into all these irregular droplets and like force onto it that it's going to collapse into a single droplet and then happen again and again and again.
You also don't have that many variables to play with. You've got the pressure with which you push out the tin, and at the frequency of the nozzle, yeah, it seems like a hard problem to solve.
There's not a whole lot of variables to play with, and so mastering that modulation of the jet is how we make the droplets.
But these droplets not only have to be identical, they have to be moving incredibly fast.
What will happen is if the next droplet that's coming down the line is too close, then it'll actually get like disturbed and mess up the next plasma event. So you have a requirement, which is both that we make 50,000 droplets per second, but also that they're traveling extremely fast.
By 2011, their laser-produced plasma source reached 11 watts, which was more than double what they managed with their previous source. But they were still limited to just 5 wafers per hour. So they needed to increase the power and fast, because they promised they'd hit 60 wafers per hour by the end of 2011. Unfortunately, this new method had a major flaw.
Well, the problem with the thing is you hit the droplet, you generate EUV with a very decent conversion efficiency. Where does the tin go? Because like, 30 centimeters away, you have this atomically flat, very beautiful, very expensive mirror for its size.
Yeah.
And in the early days, we would coat the thing within like this.
These machines need to run for a year. You're putting liters of tin through this plasma event, and a single nanometer of tin, if it was to land on that collector mirror, you'd have to take the collector out of commission. And you need to keep it almost perfectly clean for a year.
Yeah, how do you even approach that?
So our main tool here is the hydrogen gas booster.
They filled the chamber with low pressure hydrogen. This slows and cools the tin particles down. And even if some tin makes it to the collector, the hydrogen pulls it off to form a gas called stenane. This way, the machine cleans the collectors while it's running. But that hydrogen gas also gets hot from all those tin explosions. So they need to keep flushing new, pure hydrogen into the system while flushing out the stenane and other gas. But they have to get the pressure and the flow rate just right. I mean, too little hydrogen and the mirrors would get too dirty, but too much hydrogen would not only absorb too much UV light, but it would also cause the system to overheat.
The question is, how much heat is there? How much energy is being deposited into the gas? And we were stumped for quite some time. If you look at EV light source, what you'll see is that it's kind of a big glow of like purplish red light. And you kind of ask yourself, like, why is that happening? So we bought an ultra-fast camera. What we realized is that after every plasma event, there's a shock wave that goes propagating out into the hydrogen gas. And it's extremely repeatable. And you can think to yourself, there must be like an explanation for this. And there's this formula that Taylor Johnson et al. Formula that explains point source explosions in seeing these like little tiny little supernovas happening in our vessel 50,000 times a second.
And is that a fair way to think about this, like creating mini supernovas?
Yeah, it's actually pretty similar. It's almost very similar to like a Type 1A supernova, it turns out, where you kind of have an object that just totally evaporates and explodes apart. And when all that energy goes into the hydrogen gas, it produces a shock wave, a blast wave that comes flying out, which is basically the same thing you can look up in the night sky. There are these like remnant supernovas that you can see coming through space.
Using those energy calculations, they discovered they needed to flush the hydrogen at incredibly high speeds, around 360 kilometers per hour. That's more than a Category 5 hurricane, even if, those speeds are low density. But scientists saw pain and plan, and they still didn't have enough power. In fact, by 2013, ASML just reached 50 watts by shooting 50,000 thin droplets per second. But this increased power came at a price, because more power means more heat that ends up slightly shifting the mirror, resulting in misaligned light and misaligned chip results. So studies built a nervous system directly into the optics, robot-guided sensors that constantly measure the exact precision and angle of each mirror, down to the nanometer at the pico radian, which is absolutely insane.
So how accurate do we need to control this mirror? Now, one of the things you can do a thought experiment, and you can place a little laser on the side of this mirror, and we go all the way to the moon, and then we put a die here. So then this light travels all the way here, and then with the accuracy I can control this mirror, I can decide whether I pointing this side of the die or whether I pointing this side of the die.
What? That's crazy.
So you can see that the pointing accuracy is that's also in pico radians. That is something very extreme.
This allowed them to control the light even when the power increased. While Zeiss was doing a stellar job with the optics, ASML was still struggling with the power loss. The problem was that the thin droplets were too dense, meaning that most of the emitted EUV light was still getting reabsorbed by the neutral atoms before it could ever reach the front of the mirror.
The way we blasted the droplet was so not enough light, too much debris.
To make matters worse, they could see that about 10 years from now, they would need a new generation of machine, a high NA EUV machine, essentially one with a larger optic system that could print smaller features. So what did they do? They decided to double down and invest in the next generation before they even got the current one to work.
The most doubtful period was in the beginning. So I started to work on this in 2012. By that time, EUV was involved, and there was this crazy video working on the next generation where we could not even make EUV power in the first place.
Not only are you all in on EUV, you're doubling down even before you know if EUV still exists. But to keep funding the development, they needed money, and lots of it. So they turned to the very people who needed this technology.
ASML reached out to main customers. Okay, you want this technology for the next generation of chips? Well, you need to make us able to invest more by investing in us.
Intel invested around $4.1 billion, dollars, and Samsung and TSMC invested another 1.3 billion combined. So they can keep the research going, but with no product to show, customers were running out of patience.
We were crucified after a conference that promises we made last year we were unable to live up to. They said this is what you showed 2 years ago, this is what you showed last year, this is what you're telling me this year, so why would I believe you?
They were getting desperate.
But this was, I think, about 2012 or 13. We were struggling to get EUV power. And Yoshida visited us. I took him to dinner in a small town nearby. And across from the restaurant was a Maria chapel. And now, science, we have come to the limits of science. Let's hope that we find invention. So we went to the chapel. So Yoshida, just to be safe, lit
second shot, the more powerful main pulse, they evaporate the pancake and turn it into a cluster. This was a major breakthrough.
By changing the target from a droplet to a pancake, you got a larger surface area for a laser to vaporize, but without the cost of adding more debris or neutral atoms, because now the thing is vaporized all at once. By 2014, they finally managed to hit that coveted 100 watts mark. But improvements in bonded patterning with 193 nanometers now meant that EUV would only be useful if the source reached at least 200 watts and made 125 wafers per hour.
The source went from 100 to 200, but as the industry moved on, nobody waits for you. They find other solutions. We had to catch up. So it was a moving goalpost.
One of the problems was, how do you perfectly time the laser so you hit each of these droplets?
So the analogy is a bit like a golf ball that you need to land in the hole 200 meters away. Not like land on the green, not bouncing underneath the hole, but like land in the hole every time. That's the level of precision that you need to deliver the droplets. Those droplets are traveling through this like maelstrom of hydrogen, so the speeds are tremendously high. It's like shooting golf balls through a tornado. And then right when they land at the hole, that's when it needs to get hit by the laser. So in order to basically track the droplets, for that we use laser curtains. And if you sort of look at when does the droplet pass through a laser curtain, those scattered photons tell us basically when and where is the droplet, and then importantly tells us when to fire the laser. So we actually have to take into account how long will it take for the light pulse to hit the droplet after we send the pulse.
Now, by 2015, they were getting closer and closer to that coveted 200 watt mark, when all of a sudden the ASML board members got some.
This was one of these decisive moments where our customers were really thin on patience. Martin and other board members were summoned to Korea to show 200 watt. They were really fed up with it. Either show it now or you go. And when they entered the plane, the experiment was still running. When they exited the plane, they had the first results demonstrating 200 watt. This is how close we came.
With the source power up, there was one final problem that had to be solved before they could begin manufacturing their machine. See, while the hydrogen gas did protect the collector mirror from debris, it wasn't perfect. All the intense high-energy photons and hydrogen ions zipping around deteriorated a very special top coating on the collector. So they still had to clean the mirrors every 10 hours, which, is terrible for productivity. Martin van der Brink asked for updates every day on their progress. But then one of the engineers noticed that every time they opened up the machine, the mirrors suddenly seemed cleaner.
And he kind of chimed in and said, "Oh, wait a second. Whenever we open up the machine, oxygen comes in and our coating is soft. Couldn't we think of a way to add just a little oxygen to our system and make sure that the collector stays clean longer?" And so they started experimenting with the amount of oxygen that was needed in the vacuum. And then finally got to this point, okay, if we add so much oxygen, we'll keep the collector clean for longer.
Where regular brushes miss, Oral-B Electric hits for 100% clear teeth.
Because stuff happens. Join AAA today.
Get the furniture you love with no credit needed. With flexible finance, United States aren't just getting your dream section, they're furnishing your whole living room with no money out of pocket. In-store financing that fits your budget. Only at Ashley.
Wait, move this. Well, it's $5 for me. It'll make smooth sailing.
Choose new mustard, Swiss, spicy chicken, or cheese yogurt. Fries, drink, and dessert. Just $5. See a big deal for just $5. Only at Checkers and Rallies. This is Secret.
With this fix, ASML's machine could run continuously for much longer, and it finally became commercially viable. By 2016, orders started pouring in, and now